Hey, before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button. This story gets heavy, and you won't want to miss the full journey. I remember the night like it was a slow motion scene in a movie. Rain streaked the windows of our small apartment, tapping against the glass in rhythm with my heartbeat. I was sitting on the edge of our couch, scrolling through my phone, trying to ignore the tension radiating from her. My wife, Mara, was perched at the kitchen counter, swirling a glass of red wine, her fingers tracing the rim like she was lost in thought. "You know," she said, voice light but deliberate, "my ex was bigger." I froze, not in anger, not in embarrassment, just a strange, quiet shock, the kind that spreads through your chest and lodges in your ribs. I didn't reply immediately. Instead, I watched her fingers, the way they moved over the glass, and noticed how the candlelight caught her eyes, green but flickering with something I couldn't name. She laughed softly, like she was testing me, seeing if I'd react. The joke should have been harmless, playful even, but there was a sharpness underneath it, an edge that cut deeper than any words had in months. Our marriage had been a slow build-up of compromises, little annoyances tucked into routines, but this felt different. Her phone buzzed on the counter. I caught a glimpse of the message before she silenced it. "Can't wait to see you later," winking face. My stomach dropped. I told myself it was nothing, a friend, a work contact, but something in the timing, the tone, made my mind spiral. I wanted to ask, to confront, to break the silence. But instead, I just stayed there, letting the rain and her laughter fill the space between us. My calm reply, the one I would later regret, or maybe remember with a bitter clarity, was forming in my mind. And as she turned to pour another glass, smiling at something on her phone, I realized I didn't know the woman sitting across from me anymore. There was a question lingering, unspoken, hovering like smoke between us. How much had I missed? The next morning, the apartment felt hollow. Sunlight poured through the blinds, but it didn't warm anything. Mara was humming in the kitchen, flipping pancakes like nothing had happened, while I sat at the table, coffee in hand, trying to ground myself. I kept replaying her words, the message on her phone and the strange ease in her laugh. Something had shifted, even if she didn't know it, or pretended not to. I started noticing the little cracks I had ignored for years. The way she ducked her head when I entered her room, the sudden secrecy with her phone, the way our conversations had become surface-level exchanges about groceries or bills. I remember the text I brushed off as work stress. "I miss you," from numbers I didn't recognize. "Can you come tonight?" That quick pulse of anxiety whenever her phone vibrated. I decided to follow my instincts, not out of paranoia, but because a part of me needed the truth. I waited until she stepped into the shower, then opened her messages. The screen lit up with words that hit like a fist. Plans for secret dinners, late-night calls, kisses shared in corners of the city she swore she hated. One after another, the messages formed a web, a betrayal I hadn't thought possible. It was surreal. I had imagined arguments, maybe even a quiet drift apart. But this was deliberate, organized, intimate. My hands shook as I scrolled. I felt anger, yes, but underneath it was something heavier, a numb disbelief that the person I had trusted, married, loved, could compartmentalize our life while chasing someone else. When she finally came out, wrapped in a towel, humming a tune from some song we used to play together, I kept my face blank. She kissed my cheek, her fingers brushing my shoulder. "Morning," she said, and I could feel the weight of all the secrets pressing down on me. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I only sat there, letting her presence fill the room while a storm of thoughts raged inside me. The calm I had shown after a joke, the one about her ex, wasn't weakness. It was calculation. I knew that once I spoke, nothing would be reversible. And then came a message on my phone from her number. "Can we meet later? I need to explain." I didn't know if I wanted to hear her explanation or if I even could. But one thing was clear. Nothing would ever be the same. That evening, the apartment was quiet except for the rain tapping against the windows, louder now, echoing the storm in my chest. Mara walked in, her hair still damp, face flushed from the cold outside. She paused when she saw me sitting on the couch, the phone in my hand, Her messages still open. She started, then stopped. Her words faltered like a bird hitting a window. I didn't look at her. I let the silence stretch, long and heavy, the way it always does before a crack becomes a chasm. Finally, I spoke, voice steady, calm, the kind of calm that hides a hurricane. So you were serious. Her eyes widened. She shook her head, trying, maybe, to convince herself this wasn't real. It's not what you think. I cut her off. I know exactly what it is. And you know what's worse? My tone didn't rise. It didn't need to. You joked about your ex in front of me, like I was a punchline. And I smiled. I stayed calm. I let it go. I could have screamed, begged, cried, but I didn't. I stayed calm. Her lips trembled. I can explain. You don't get to explain. I finally met her gaze, and it was like looking through glass. Seeing her, but not really seeing her. I realized I married someone I don't even know anymore. Someone who makes a mockery of our life behind my back. Someone who thinks betrayal is funny. Mara stepped closer, reaching out, but I leaned back. The space between us wasn't just physical. It was a distance of every lie, every secret, every casual betrayal. This isn't about anger, I whispered. It's about clarity. I don't need revenge. I don't need excuses. I just need truth. And the truth is, you're gone, even if you're still here. She collapsed into the chair opposite me, tears slipping freely now. I didn't move. I couldn't. The calm had been my shield, my final act of respect for myself. When the sun finally broke through the clouds, it illuminated the apartment with a cruel clarity. Our life together, the laughs, the dinners, the shared mornings, had become a museum of memories I could no longer touch. I left the apartment later that night. The rain washing the streets, my reflection in puddles reminded me that some endings are quiet but final. Betrayal doesn't always scream. Sometimes it whispers, and you realize the most devastating moment is the one when you decide you no longer belong in someone else's story. If this story resonates, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe. You never know which story will make you rethink the people around you.